Under a Rock, a survival co-op sandbox game I showed you guys last year, has been going pretty strong, revealing even more in the last few months. So we're going to talk through that today. Pretty excited by the build system they've shown off most recently. And I guess a recap for anyone that missed them videos, we're going to go over the 10 most important features that I'm excited for in Under a Rock. We'll be doing this pretty much every Sunday from now on. You'll see some sort of video focusing on new games on the horizon, and for sure you'll see a lot more of them on the channel as we get closer to their releases. So leave a like, really helps this video and channel out, and let's go. So starting off with the new stuff, they've revealed they've got two new building systems. You've got the old arcade kind of way where you just place a blueprint down and it instantly builds. Fans of obviously games like Ark, Conan will know this. You've got to have the resources inside, or you can have the blueprint system, which is like Grounded and the Forest, where you can actually plan out your bases a lot more and then decide if it's something you actually want to carry on building. I love the idea that they've got both of these features enabled. Another cool thing with building is the shared blueprints. Even if you're building in a solid way rather than the blueprint way, it all can be saved and be shared. So you can share your creations with other players. You won't necessarily be able to unpack it like you can in games like Fallout 76 and then just load it up wherever you want. Does look like it's still going to cost resources to go ahead and do that. But for sure, if you like the design of a particular base, you'll then be able to go ahead and rebuild that pretty easily, as you'll be able to set up the blueprint for it in another location. Typical hammer, as most games do for something like this, using it to build. But it's definitely going to be a strong aspect of Under a Rock. Here's another screenshot from their Discord showcasing some of this stuff as well. Clearly the yellow items are either decor, or because they're not fully on something stable, they're showing up as yellow. That's a huge amount of detail and looks like a ton of building pieces. The building is going to be a key aspect of this game, building your ranches, your farmstead or your villages, making sure that you've got enough space for your pets and companions, and of course other players, as it's going to be up to 10 player co-op. That's what they're expecting with this. It does look fantastic seeing the different environments affecting the bases, and yeah, for cozy builders out there, I think there's going to be a lot of variety here. I do love the idea that it's all beach fronted at the moment. I'm sure they're going to have more tiers, I'm pretty sure they've said that as well, but it's nice to see something a little bit more light and bright rather than just the bog standard thatch or kind of grass that we've seen in other games. This has got this like bamboo-y feel, and it really fits the tropical island paradise, I guess. Bridging the gap between building bases and really fantastic caves to explore is the idea that you will also be able to go ahead and build inside caves and make them your home. That's because one of the second coolest features is that these caves aren't going to be kind of separated. When you go into a cave, enemies can follow you in and out. There is no loading screens. It's all fully part of the world. Some of these caves are going to be massive, gargantuan, as they say in Discord, where literally they're a biome in themselves. There'll be dangers inside that you might have to clear out first, but the idea is that yes, you will be able to go and make a home inside a cave, maybe once you've cleared it out. Doesn't mean all of your pets and others will come with you. They may take a bit of persuading, as some might not like the idea of living in a cave. Cool feature number 3 is the pets and taming system, and again leading on from it, as I said, some pets might not like necessarily living in caves, but your companions are a different matter. These guys are really super loyal to you. These are your actual pets that you can turn into proper loyal friends. You'll be able to ride a lot of them, they'll fight for you, they'll pretty much be there at your side. Whereas they have got pet system where it's going to be just a case of having them as tames, creatures, maybe even livestock that you'll be able to keep in and around your area. They won't necessarily fight for you, they might not necessarily be able to do what you want them to do, but they will have their uses. I'm sure fans of Ark and other similar games will be happy to hear there's going to be breeding as well, so you'll be able to get some perfect coloured tames, as they're going to come in all sorts of different varieties. When you breed these creatures, they're going to be tames, and then you can go and sell them or trade them to other players, and they can then turn them into companions. Does look like they are going to have different tiers as well that you won't be able to breed up to though. Some of them you'll have to go and capture first and tame them in that special way. Over the last few months, they've spoken a bit more about stats and progression. It is going to be light RPG. It's going to have attributes, skills and abilities. Things like might, finesse, vitality, discipline and toughness will each govern different stats and buffs that you'll be able to have. We've got their skills, which are going to be 3 categories: combat mastery, survival mastery and crafting. As you increase the level of a skill, it's going to affect your mastery level, which will then give you ability points, making it fast to level up lagging skills within the same category. Example they give in Discord is if you raised your sword fighting skill to a higher level, you already have some knowledge in combat mastery. So switching to level up mace fighting will now be faster as you're gaining experience bonus when using maces. The higher the difference between your mace skill and the mastery is, the higher the bonus. Within the combat skills, they're looking at swords, axes, knives, clubs, spears, bows, unarmed damage, shields, armor, parrying and rolling. Within survival, it's going to be running, swimming, including diving, jumping, climbing and animal handling, which includes also mounting. Not to forget sneaking and mysticism. The crafting skills are going to be hunting, mining, harvesting, fishing, cooking, farming and crafting. Them abilities that you'll be able to buy, I guess, with your ability points are going to be passive buffs and knowledge unlocks. And there are going to be 3 levels for each ability. And then we've got things like resistances. So impact, lightning, decay, frost, fire, supernatural, like I mentioned before. And as you can imagine, just like most games, doing more of that action is going to give you more of that stat progression. So jumping around is going to increase your jumping skill experience. Crafting is going to give you skill experience. And you'll level up each one of them stats, doing more of it. They do have tech progression as well, which is a mixture of picking up resource material and then refined material for the first time, plus a few recipes that you must be found or researched. When it comes to more hardcore survival mechanics, they are going to have temperature, weather, poisoning, diseases, traps, fatigue and curses, in addition to dangerous nights and a less predictable AI. It looks like you won't necessarily need to eat 20 billion times a day, although there will be penalties if you don't. It's more a case of giving you bonuses and buffs, having a good balanced meals to give health and stamina a bit of a boost. If you die from something like hunger or dehydration, it pretty much remove days of in-game time. They basically want food to be part of Under a Rock, but not the full focus. Food will not spoil. And again, much like other games like Valheim, even Rust, DayZ and Ark all have some sort of bonus buff system for being rested, Under a Rock is no different. Effectively having resting, comfort level and rested bonus all affecting what you can earn. So either increased health regain rate, increased stamina regain rate, reduced fatigue gain, or increased attribute and skill experience gain, as well as increased resistances. The way they're going to have it though is different from some games, where you have to be within distance of quite a lot of different types of furniture to get that buff. Here it's just going to be one level. As long as you're within the boundaries of your base, it doesn't matter where you put your decorative items, they'll still add to the comfort level. And when it comes to combat, they've got a good amount of information about their plans, but they're just plans at the moment with no real gameplay showing. And that's okay, but I don't really want to go too much into it, other than saying that it seems pretty standard in terms of what you might expect from a decent RPG. Different resistances will give you different protections, and your combat and stuff can be affected by how much you're stunned, or in this case they're calling it stability. Drawing parallels with other games sometimes can be a bit of a double-edged sword. It makes it simple and easy for you to imagine, but it does mean pigeonholing the game. But in this instance, it feels a bit close to Valheim in terms of how you defend and block. You can block for oh so certain, but eventually if you keep blocking and a succession of hits lands, then eventually you will take damage, regardless of whether you're defending or not. In Under a Rock's case, it looks like yes, you will be staggered. But I like the fact that they're revealing this kind of information already in their Discord, and it's got a whole ton of more details about the combat. Over the last few months we've seen more and more about their biomes and weather effects. It looks like seasons are going to be a big part of Under a Rock. They recently showed off some of the technology behind snow actually forming across the island, which looks really cool. Pretty unusual for a tropical paradise to be covered in the white stuff, but I think it looks pretty decent. And it'll tie nicely to some of the more hardcore survival mechanics like weather effects that we're going to have to protect against. There will be events as well like Halloween and possibly the holiday season too. Who doesn't want their own Christmas fluffy? The game looks gorgeous. They have been emphasising how they're using Unreal Engine 5 with a host of these clips appearing on big places like Math Chief Expo and more. Not only is the engine making games look better, but it's helping with performance, render distance, and the amount of items that you can have in the world in terms of bases and stuff. Another aspect I'm sure a lot of players would appreciate is customization. It looks like you can do all sorts of things with your hair, whether it's on the top of your head or your beard, with a big focus shown off in the different types of customization you can do, even to different blemishes and conditions that you might have even on your skin. The more customization, absolutely the better for players to have that choice and freedom to create the characters they want. So if you have piqued your interest in the game so far, obviously a lot of people are asking about when they're going to be able to play and where or how they're going to play. It is going to come to consoles, Xbox Series X and S and PlayStation 5, but that won't be for a long while. It does look like it'll be entering some sort of early access or PC release first. They've not even got alpha dates or anything like that actually scheduled. I don't think we're going to see this game until at least middle of next year, maybe towards the end. You never know, things may change. We could potentially see something come towards the end of the year if we're really, really lucky, as I said at the start of the video. But I got a feeling, judging on the development so far, that we won't see, big actual release dates for an early access until next year. And for console, sadly, it might not be until 2025 for sure. Anything changes, I'll be the first person to let you know. I'm going to keep an eye and revisit Under a Rock with future developments in the coming months. Until then, go and check them out in their own Discord, which I'll leave the links to in the comment section down below. And keep up to date yourself, and I'll see you at Bags for more first look at survival games coming soon. Bye bye.